Hey guys, this is Brian from the Dude What Movie Review Podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in to another Dude What original from our archive. We're going to have a lot of fun on this episode. We're going to have some in-depth discussion, but I wanted to warn you right up front that there is going to be a content warning and a language warning on this episode. Nothing too crazy, but I just wanted to go ahead and give you the heads up right up front. But for now, I want you to sit back and enjoy the show. It's going to be a good one. Thanks, guys. I hope you guys out there are having fun because we're having fun here in the studio on a weeknight. Hi, welcome to our show. This is the Dude What Movie Review Podcast. Dude, what? That crazy guy over there talking is Jim. Say hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
I'm the other half of this freaking hosting squad here, Mr. Brian Sumner. It's crazy. It's wacky in the studio tonight.
A little bit.
We're having fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it. Of course, we're re-releasing another dandy from the episode archive.
Man.
You know, a Dude What original. We're going to have a lot of fun with this one. This is a crazy episode with regard to how it relates so much to its title, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Right.
I think you're kind of on the same wavelength as me. You're looking forward to it, but not really. Episode 11, we're going to go ahead and just get on into it, man. From the original run. It was titled Heavy for very good reason. For very good reason, but we're going to get to that here in a minute. But before we start talking about that, Jim, how are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing well.
Great.
I'm busy as all get out.
What?
Like, just when I thought I couldn't be busier, I'm way busy. A lot of irons in the fire, as they say.
Yep.
Don't know what that means, but I've got them in there.
I know exactly what that means. You open it up, the dictionary, to see what that definition for that is, and it's just a picture of you standing there with a big grin on your face.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I'm gunning for Stephen A. Turner.
No one.
Being as the busiest man in the tri-state.
It's not possible. It's just not possible.
I need to talk to a supplier to keep up with it.
Wow. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm putting a disclaimer on this anyway. So, Jim, let's just get to it, man.
You didn't let me ask you how you were doing.
No one cares, Jim. Look, I'm good. I'm fine.
Well, good. Okay.
No one cares about me. It doesn't matter. They're here for the episode, man. They're here for the entertainment.
It's true. It's true.
They
don't want to hear our banter.
They don't. No one cares about us.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the show.
Yeah. Way to bring it down, Eeyore.
End of the road. Nothing to do. And no hope of things getting better.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I'm fine. I mean, I'm hanging out with one of my best friends in the studio. We're sitting here chatting about movies, and we're going down memory lane, and we might end up crying and holding each other by the time this one's all said and done.
This is true, man. This is true. There's a big reason why this is called Heavy, obviously, but yeah.
Keep dancing around it, but it's like I'm avoiding it, really. Now that I think of it, I'm avoiding it, is what it is.
Yeah, we're avoiding it, for sure.
Episode 11, titled Heavy. Oh my gosh, was it ever? When we last left off, we had our dude table discussion. First ever dude table discussion, Jim.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I mean, it was great. Little did we know that was going to lead into this episode, which is a stark difference from episode to episode. We have it so many times throughout the run of our original run on this show. It's crazy. Obviously, Jim chose the category dramatic films with racial tensions. Now, you felt bad at the time.
I did.
Coming back to this category because I was on vacation in between these episodes.
Yeah, the reality of my decision, I think, hit me while you were like away. And then I think it's because I was making promos and stuff,
right?
You know, getting stuff like that ready for social media. And I was like, just some of the images from the films, I'm like, oh, man. Like, gosh, this is rough.
Which the films from that category were Mississippi Burning, A Time to Kill, and American History X. So, yeah, heavy, very appropriate title. Now, some news and notes from this episode, Jim. I cut it out on this re-release here, but kind of a running theme with regard to our show, one of us being on vacation, or sometimes both of us on vacation. This time I was on vacation, and we learned a lot of things, Jim. We learned that I love the beach.
Yeah.
I hate coming back from the beach. And you're a little sad and lost whenever I'm gone.
I was, very much so. I mean, we had just started this little hobby. We had crossed the threshold of the number 10, right? Like, we didn't even think we'd get past 3. So, like,
Right.
And we gotten into a rhythm. I've gotten used to watching a movie, getting away from being separated from my family, and tragically, sadly, I had just gotten into a new rhythm, and routine, and you went and ruined that.
I wouldn't ruin it with my happiness at the beach.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I was happy.
Frolicking in the ocean waves.
I was frolicking. Apparently, during this time, also, there was an earthquake that had happened while I was gone. Apparently happened in the middle of the night. It wasn't anything major. It kind of reminded me of that meme that someone had posted of like a lawn chair laying on its side in the yard. And like, I'm marked safe from the earthquake of whatever, 2017.
Well, it's funny because you were bringing this up on the production notes and stuff we were talking about, and I looked at you like, what are you talking about? And then the more you started talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, I vaguely do remember. Like, I think I did wake up like, what was that? And then went back to sleep, But, yeah, it was great because, we live on a fault line, so.
Right, of course.
I mean, that's what everybody tells you whenever there's like a little tremor or something in this area. It's like, oh, well, we live on a fault line. The big one's coming. It's like, yeah.
Well, they've been saying the big one's coming since like 1930, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we technically do live on one of the biggest fault lines in the world.
It's true.
But it's also one of the most inactive fault lines in the world as well.
It's
so,
true.
I mean, if it does happen, we're all dead, but I will probably be gone before it ever even actually happens. So I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Kind of a metaphor for our podcast, I think, sometimes. So.
It's so painfully accurate. Moving on, Jim. To say that people don't care, they don't care. But one person that did care at the time was someone very special to the show, Jim.
Very special, yeah.
We actually, I believe on the previous episode, we had started doing shout outs.
We did.
The introduction of the Hey You Guys. We decided, hey, we could start giving little shout outs to people who actually really care about the show and are invested in the show. And actually, we do give a shout out on this episode. And you guys are going to hear it here in a little bit, to someone very special and someone who will actually become very special to our show early on, as she becomes our first super fan. But she plays a very integral part into something very, very funny. I don't know how to describe it other than it's funny, it's landmark, and it's important to our show within the next couple of episodes. And you guys have that to look forward to on the feed. So I just want to go ahead and mention it, kind of tease it right now. That's going to be a lot of fun to hear that.
Yeah, and this is I think we were talking about, like, this is the first, but not the last, time that there is a major shift in the tone of our show.
Right. We've already talked about how the category of dramatic films with racial tensions, and the title of the episode is heavy, and you've already heard the movie selections: Mississippi Burning, A Time to Kill, American History X. Our conversation that you guys are going to hear after the montage takes a completely different turn from what we normally do on the show, at least from what you guys had heard on this show in the original run up to this point. Very light, very fluffy. We've had a couple of kind of intimate moments with regard to things that we've talked about over the course of a couple of episodes up to this point, Lion King being one of those. But, this was the episode that really just kind of really put a shift on what we are as a show.
I know that we have said this a lot about previous episodes that we've been discussing, but this is another one of those historical markers for dude what.
Yes.
It was almost like, how a snake sheds its skin as it grows?
Yes.
This is kind of one of those moments, I think.
I think so. This was a definite growing moment for us, for our show, and we talk about the difference in tone, but I think because of that, it helped kind of point us in a direction that we really wanted to go with what we do and what we offer with regard to content and a tone and a brand for our show.
Yes.
So in a way, I'm kind of grateful that you did choose this category.
Yeah.
And I actually have some interesting notes about that I'm going to share on the back half. So you guys have that to look forward to after this episode.
Now, just a fair warning, like on the back half, we're going to be talking more production.
Yeah.
But because of the content you're about to hear, if you have to take a breath and then come back to listen to the production side later, we understand that. But just know, we're far enough removed from it because we didn't sit and listen to this show.
Right.
Well, I mean, you did. But
I did.
But yeah, we're far enough removed from it so that we can have this witty banter,
Yeah.
or whatever you call it.
We can talk about it and not cry. The vacation was good. I wish I could say that I'm glad to be back, but I'm not.
Yeah.
The beach has this effect on me. It has taken a hold of me, and it's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I'm not there, I am sad.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a couple weeks to get back into the swing of things.
And I will say, even coming over today, I was like, I could tell you're like, hey man, like you're like, hey, it's good to see you, but I'm sorry, I hate to be here. I'm kind of. I was like, man,
No.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm back.
I'm glad. So I'm sorry you had to come back to this episode.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. I'm sorry you had to come back to insert your own response.
Right.
Yeah.
I know after we stopped recording last time, I told you, I was like, man, I hope I made the right decision. And I really had been struggling because it's like, do people really want to, because the topic is definitely very heavy. We're on episode 11, which is a big deal.
Double digits.
Yeah, and obviously for a celebration for our 10th episode, we did the Dude Table, and we introduced a new segment.
Yes,
with that, our shout out segment, or Hey You Guys segment, right?
Our what?
Yeah, so we decided we would kind of do a shout out, or if we get reviews, if people start sending in reviews and stuff, we can read those during that time. But we actually, so every week I get a text.
Okay.
From my dear cousin Jess.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's Jess for the win on Instagram. So she is giving you a lot of crap on Instagram, and you've been responding to her a lot back and forth. And it's funny because Jess is not a podcast person.
Okay.
But she is a huge movie buff. And so when we started doing this, I was like, I have to let Jess know, hey, this is the name of the podcast. If you don't do podcasts, this is how you do it.
Right.
She started listening. I thought, well, maybe she'll probably be like, that's not really my cup of tea or whatever. I know that she's all about movies, but she'll be like, man, I don't like your reviews. But she's like, I love the show. She's like, I will continue to listen to the show. But every week now, I get a text, and I always wait for it because I know she's going to send one.
Right.
And it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like with Lion King, she was like, what? Like Alien, she was like, I had to stop the podcast and walk away.
Oh, boy.
And so, yeah, Lion King, she was like,
It's nice to know that I have this effect on people.
Right. It was funny because she texted me. She told me, she said, Lion King, I saw the title, and she's like, I waited a day before I could listen to it.
Oh yeah, because the title was very
scary. Yeah.
Scar.
So she was like, I saw the title and I had to wait a day to listen because she had to regroup herself. So,
good stuff.
But she said she's going to be sending you some hate mail, or maybe me actually, because she loves Dunkirk and I didn't give it the review she wanted.
Right. Yeah, you sent me a text while I was down in Panama City, and I was reading it as her opinions on your opinions, and I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Finally, someone else taking a
I'm going to get some heat.
Verbal beat down.
Because she's like, you want some hate mail? Here you go. But yeah, so Cousin Jess is our shout out for this week. And
thanks for tuning in, Jess. Appreciate it.
So I love her to pieces. Actually, fun fact about her. So she is technically Kylie's cousin, right? Okay. But so Kylie and I don't really see eye to eye with movies. so when Jess was down here, she used to live in Evansville. She's now up in the Bloomington area. So when she lived down here, a lot of times we would go to movies together. So she became my movie date person that I would go with,
movie tag team partner.
Yeah. So it's pretty great. So we would go and see movies together that Kylie wouldn't want to see.
Right.
So it's kind of funny though, because every once in a while I'd see people that knew that I was married to Kylie, and I had to explain why am I with another woman.
They give you kind of a cross eye.
Yeah, I was like, we're cousins. We like movies. It's all this
You're
is.
cousins. It makes it even worse.
You're not. Never mind.
She's not even your cousin. What the hell's going on here?
But she's good people, man. And actually, on the on Instagram, we have this tracker system that I've just started using. This app that tells us who's not following us, who will follow us and the not follow us type thing.
Take note, people.
Right. Well, more so, it's people that are scheming to try to just get followers.
Yeah, trying to get boost their numbers.
Yeah, but it sends this update of here's your number one fan, and she actually is our number one fan.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So that's why you get the shout out, Jess.
That's how you get the shout out.
Yep.
Good stuff. I like it.
Yep.
Anywho, appreciate you tuning in. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
good stuff.
she gets the shout out this week. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool deal. But now, I think it's time that we get back to brass tacks here.
I'll be honest, man. I've kind of been stressing a little bit about this episode because
Don't stress about it.
I know, just because of the nature of the topic. Like, I think we'll have some good conversation, good dialogue.
I think we will too. It's a touchy kind of topic, but like we said on the last episode, we're a movie review podcast,
Right.
And if we don't cover these movies, then we're being selective,
Right.
And just trying to pigeonhole ourselves basically into doing just a certain type of movie.
Right.
That's not who we are.
Right.
All right. We like to cut up and have fun, obviously,
Yeah.
but we're also trying to create a dialogue about everything. Any topic. Doesn't matter what the topic is. It could be funny stuff. It could be serious stuff.
Yeah.
Very dramatic, intense stuff like we're going to dive in today.
Yeah. And so, like, even when you presented that, I think that's why when you gave me the list of the three,
Right.
when you're like, well, you took that well, I think I was processing, like, am I making the right decision?
Right.
And so, like, my response wasn't like, what? I can't believe you haven't seen this racist movie. You're like, it's like... it's not to that level. Obviously, it's dealing with that topic or that nature. But,
right.
And so I think that's why my response was not melancholy, but very reserved.
Gotcha.
And, we've had in-depth conversation, but I think
this is going to take it to a whole new level, I think, for our show.
Right, because we know this going into it.
Yes.
Not on the back end. So anyway,
so
the three movies you gave me was Mississippi Burning,
right,
a 1988 film with Gene Hackman and William Dafoe. It's a crime drama history. And then A Time to Kill, a 1996 film based off a John Grisham novel, Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson. And the other one was American History X, 1998 crime drama with Edward Norton, Edward Furlong. All of these are very pivotal movies.
Right.
All of them have made a dent in Hollywood, if you will. They've made a statement, I guess you could say. I feel like American History X, maybe because it's more modern, is one that I was like inside. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Same with Time to Kill. Anyway, we'll see, man. Like any of these, I think any of these will be great to really spark the dialogue and stuff that we can have afterwards. But
right.
So tell me what's in the box, Brian.
What's in the box?
You want to know?
Yeah.
Well, the box is sitting right here in front of
I know. I'm just.
So you go right ahead, sir. Let's see what we got in the box. I'm nervous again.
I am. I don't know why. I get to do this all the time. What? No. What? Brian. No.
Yeah.
American History X.
That's right, sir.
This is not a rental again.
Not a rental again.
And it feels like it's been used. So did you buy this or...
I did buy this.
Has this been one that's been on your shelf and you just haven't watched it?
It has not been on my shelf, and I have not watched it, no. I actually, even though I was away on vacation, I was still doing my homework.
Okay, okay.
One thing that Crystal and I like to do is we like to go to, like, thrift shops, secondhand stores, Goodwills, stuff like that.
Sure,
so anytime I go to these places, I always thumb through the DVDs and the CDs, see if there's anything cool in there.
Okay.
And I happened to find that at Legacy Thrift on Highway 98 down in Panama City Beach.
Okay.
Give them a little plug right there. Yeah. But found that for $2. I was like, boom. Because I knew I wanted to do this movie in particular. And when I saw it on the shelf, I was like, sold.
So why this particular movie?
I've heard so many varying opinions about the movie.
Yeah.
It's obviously polarizing.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah. Edward Norton, despite what you may feel about him, he is a tremendous actor. I like his work. I've never seen this movie.
I will say that, I mean,
For one reason or another, this is another one of those films that I've never sat down and watched. And it's not because I haven't wanted to watch it. Mm-hmm. I have wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
I just never have gotten around to watching it. Now, I have caught a couple scenes on TV.
Well, yeah, I will tell you that the TV version is nothing.
Oh, I can...
Like what we're about to see.
Yeah, I can probably gather as much. But,
yeah,
there are a couple scenes that I have caught on TV. The ones that I did see, I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I will say Edward Norton
serious stuff.
Is amazing in this movie. I mean, he plays his character very well.
I have a feeling there's probably going to be some scenes that are pretty tough to watch.
Yeah.
So, but
Which I say that just to prep, I guess, our listeners, if anything, for the montage. I mean, obviously, we don't know what the montage is going to look like until after we watch the movie and you get the clips and all of that. But
I'll definitely put a disclaimer.
Right, yeah. I think it's kind of a given. All right, man. Let's dive in. Let's do it.
Not really much else to do except for just go dive into it, I guess. Like we've said before, if you guys haven't watched this movie, American History X, pause the podcast right now and go sit down and watch it, and then come back on the backside and kind of rehash it and live the discussion with us about this movie in particular. And then after you've listened to the back half of the show, get on Facebook or send us an email and let us know what you think about the ranking and our thoughts and our opinions. And I have a feeling this is going to be one of those topics that we can probably get some good dialogue going.
I agree.
So,
and I mean, if you don't want to dialogue publicly, you can always private message us.
Oh,
email
yeah,
us,
obviously,
stuff like
yeah.
that. And then,
always send us an email, and, if you just want to have a discussion back and forth, that's fine. Everything be kept private.
Because, like you said, it is very polarizing, and unfortunately, especially with social media.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah, people are very...
In this country, especially right now, there's a lot of racial tension in the world, and this is a drama. This is a movie. Yeah. We are a movie review podcast, so we're going to dive into it. Right. We're going to go do it. Let's go watch the movie. We'll see you in the back half, guys.
So here's the drill. I'm your history teacher from now on. We will discuss current events. We will call this class American History X. First assignment is to prepare for me a new paper due tomorrow.
Oh, come on, Sweeney. It took me a week to read Mein Kampf. That isn't fair. Well, what do you want me to do it on?
Your brother.
Come on, this has got nothing to do with me anymore.
Yes, it does. It has everything to do with you. I want you to analyze and interpret all the events surrounding Derek's incarceration. How these events helped shape your present perspective concerning life in contemporary America. The impact on your life, your family.
Don't ask me to fix this whole fucking situation.
I'm not asking that.
It was there before me.
You helped create it. You want to take a break now?
Sweeney, did you bring me in here to talk about Derek? Because what happened to him has nothing to do with me.
Everything you do right now has something to do with Derek.
Look, I followed directions.
You prey on people, Cam. You use them. I lost 3 years of my life for your phony cause, but I am on to you now, you fucking snake.
You know about the place I'm in.
There was a moment I used to blame everything and everyone for all the pain and suffering and vile things that happened to me, that I saw happen to my people. Blame everybody. Blame white people. Blame society. Blame God.
If there's anybody they're going to listen to, it's you. I hate to tell you, but I'm out, okay? Those guys are probably gunning for me.
You take a break, you'll find no peace. The way to find peace is to stick.
You know what you can do? You can get me shot by a bunch of white boys.
I doubt it.
Yeah. We're all going to have a laugh at that, let me tell you.
I didn't get no answers because I was asking the wrong questions. You have to ask the right question.
Like what?
Has anything you've done made your life better?
You can't come barking threats at me. Look, you can do whatever you want, but Danny is a good kid. He needs my help, and I'm going to give it to him.
If you come near Danny again,
I won't have to. He'll come to me. I'm more important to him now than you know.
I came in here to tell you one thing. I am out. Out! And Danny is out, too. And if you come near my family again, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
So I guess this is where I tell you what I learned. Well, my conclusion is, hate is baggage. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time. It's just not worth it.
Well, welcome back.
App after that. Oof.
Yeah, brother. So I've seen this movie, and I told you at one point there was scenes that I think I just have blotted out of my memory.
A little movie PTSD, possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's right now. Honestly, I think what everyone right now needs to do is just take a step back.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
Big deep breath.
Yeah.
Let ourselves detach emotionally from, if you guys tuned in and watched while we watched.
And obviously, part of, what we do here is we review immediately after the movie. And this is definitely a movie I think that we have plenty to chew on for a long time. But we're going to...
honestly, and that's because these are issues that are ongoing.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a run-of-the-mill overnight thing. This is decades, centuries. We are talking about racial tensions in not only just this country, but in the world.
Yeah.
These are issues that are ongoing.
Yeah.
So, this is a topic that'll definitely have some long-standing effects, for sure.
Well, and just, obviously, even the movie in and of itself. Obviously, you said that you've heard mixed reviews from it. I think on the first half we were talking about that. I think maybe people just feel so deeply about the issue at hand and the thing as far as, with racism and just the content of the movie. So we've never done a drama on this show yet.
Right. This first one.
We decided to just go in at first in a deep topic, obviously dealing with racism.
Yeah.
This obviously American History X highlights neo-Nazism, which I think is even more prevalent because of the news and the media in the weeks that have led up to this week actually. So I just want your immediate. Obviously besides the sigh of, just trying to process everything. So
Collective sigh of relief that the movie was done.
So I guess process with us where you're at.
First and foremost, it was a really good movie. It was really good. Edward Norton's performance in this is, in a way, take the dark topic, the racism aspect and everything, but this is almost like a story of redemption. He has gone through so much and has realized that kind of what he's been digesting his whole life is stuff that has been projected on him, and he hasn't really created his own point of view. He's just regurgitating what he has been told, what he has been fed, what he has been constantly driven into his mind until it's time he's on his own. And then now as he's starting to really think about it and starting to use his own point of view,
right?
And now he just realizes it's just been BS his whole life. So that story of redemption, it's like I've gone this whole time in my life preaching and being a part of something that
you're boldly holding on to.
Yeah, I don't even believe now. So what was his name? Sweeney was the he
Dr.
said
Sweeney.
For so much time in my life I was asking the wrong questions.
Yeah,
he's like, and you gotta ask yourself the right questions. And he said, has the stuff that you've done in your life made your life better?
Yeah, dude, that whole scene was powerful,
brutal. I mean, there's so many scenes in this movie that are just brutal, and not from a hard to watch aspect. Brutal from a
life standpoint.
Exactly. A place of honesty with yourself. That's how brutal emotionally it was. As a movie goes, this was a really good movie. Hard to watch. Not hard to watch because the movie wasn't any good, but hard to watch just because of it just makes you realize this exists in our country. This exists in our world. This perpetual roller coaster ride of hate. And when you open your heart up and you don't let hate in, and you allow yourself to, wow. I'm like getting emotional about this. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that people can just hate. And I hate it. I hate that people can just blindly hate. It wrecks me. I hate it. So, from a cinematic standpoint, this is a very important movie.
Very much so.
It's very important. So, can't believe I'm getting all worked up.
We like to keep it real here.
Typically like to keep it,
light and
very light,
fluffy, but
this is
the topic of racism in our country is it's been brought to the forefront more, I think, because of obviously the person in office, Donald Trump. And
let's just go ahead and just say right now, we don't want to turn this into like a big political forum.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is like whether you love him or hate him, he is our president.
He is our president.
Things that maybe he hasn't even said, but have been implied, like through media and through other people. And unfortunately, you get groups on either side of the fence that want to grab on to certain things and perpetuate their propaganda. I use that word because I think in talking even just about neo-Nazism and just the hate groups, they're too often at times we want to twist things around to promote our ideals.
Absolutely.
And
so see that all the time.
It's been brought very prominent, obviously, in recent years, and then more so even in the last, not even 6 or 8 months, 9 months.
In the movie, it struck a chord with me. The scene where his mom, played by Beverly D'Angelo, she brought, I can't remember his name, Elliot Gould played the character.
Yeah, her boyfriend at the time. Yeah.
And she brought him over to dinner, and they're sitting down, and they get onto this topic of Rodney King. And because this was set, around the time of the Rodney King trial and everything, and that was such a polarizing issue in this country. That brought so much, racial issues to the forefront, especially in the media. That whole scene where he is just going on and on and on about how like so many illegals are coming into the country, and the borders aren't secure, and all this stuff, and it's crazy how it just rang so true with the rhetoric that you're seeing in the news every day, especially coming from the president, talking about borders aren't safe, we got illegals coming in, these people are criminals, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And you can't help but make a correlation between what you see in the screen in the movie and what you see on the screen from our own president. It's crazy to me. It does come across as hate speech a lot of times. I don't have the answers for illegal immigration. Like we've said on here, we're deep fried white boys.
Blue collar white boys in the Midwest.
Deep fried blue collar collar white boys just talking movies, and I don't have the answers for all that stuff. I just know that to basically lump every person from that nationality into this whole bucket of just bad people, that's a recipe for hate. When you allow hate to get into you, it literally becomes a cancer. It eats you from the inside out, and I can't understand why someone would want to hate just hate so much, because you end up, like Edward Furlong says, you just end up wasting so much of your life. Life is short enough. Life is too short. It's short enough as it is. Why spend your whole time hating? But yeah, that scene, that was, when I heard that, I was like, wow. Because this movie, what year was this movie?
I have it written down. It was 98, I believe.
98,
98, 1998.
Okay, so I mean, here we are, almost 20 years later. Crazy.
A lot of that, even because as the dining room table, as they were having this conversation, even Edward Norton's girlfriend is like speaking up and talking about like the cameras and stuff. And I'm like, and that's the thing I think that was for me was very eerie. There are elements of what he was saying that was true, but using it and bringing it to the precipice of using it for hatred and destruction of another human being to justify that. And so I feel like this movie does a really great job of bringing you into
the psyche of someone who feels that way.
So like, and I mean, they even do, like kind of pulling back and showing as the story progresses, the dining room table scene with the father.
Exactly.
And, all I can think of, again, is the conversations we've had about how fathers are so pivotal in shaping and creating.
And you can see in that scene where the seeds are being planted into Edward Norton's head.
And it just took the right circumstances and the right people around those circumstances to breed that.
And then you got to think, at the time of that scene where the father, was still alive, and he's sitting there and they're having their family dinner and everything, you got to think, Edward Norton's character, he's a teenager, so very impressionable, obviously, and your father, you look up to your father, especially if it's someone that you've trusted for so long and you look to them for advice, worldly advice. And so when you start hearing these things and you trust your father, you trust this person who has molded you, when that seed is planted in your head, it starts to make sense in your head just because of who you're around. The way that scene almost kind of mirrored the scene earlier in the movie with Edward Norton sitting at the head of the table now because his father's gone, and him basically taking what his father said, cranking the dial up to like 20. There was a lot
of those. I mean, just the film for me, and I mean, it's not about me, it's about you because I've seen the movie. But the dialogue was great, the interaction was great. But I think there was a whole nother level of the storytelling when it came to the scenes being shot, the way they were shot. You had the black and white, but then you had color.
I love
the mimicking of the shower scenes, with these transformations happening. The dining room table scenes. There's a lot of elements of story.
I love that the callback scene, like not necessarily flashback, but the earlier scenes of his life. I love that was all in black and white. So you get this it's almost as if you're representing two separate worlds. That's happening essentially at the same time. It's basically a memory callback is what it is. And I loved it. I loved the way it was shot.
Because I mean, even in the story that tells is like, because everything that was happening during that time, the black and white scenes was, I mean, it was black and white. It was a black and white issue with them as far as like what they believe, what they stood on. But then bringing it into color is kind of like seeing in a whole different level of like, I've had this awakening. Right. And so you see this, to me, that there's a beauty. I mean, seeing the movie is very harsh, but there's a beauty in the storytelling aspect that I think there's so many levels besides just what you're seeing on screen.
The representation of the black and white, showing before he went to prison and all the things that led up to that, and while he was in prison, just his way of thinking that, and then when he comes out and everything now is in, it's in color, you're seeing everything in present time in color. It's just like representation of showing that not everything in life is clear-cut black and white. There's always these shades of gray, and there's more colors that you need to take into. I thought it was brilliantly shot.
So what, I guess, I've been asking, like, what makes a good whatever film with dealing with drama. In your opinion, just talking about the movie aspect, and we'll get more on the content again, but what makes a good drama?
Just compelling characters. That's the main thing that makes a really good drama. If you can have... We bang storytelling on here all the time.
I mean, that's a given answer.
That's a given. But I think for a drama, what makes a good drama is compelling characters, sympathetic characters, and then also the actors and actresses that portray those characters. That is where you get your strength in a drama. We've talked about this before when you see someone play a role. Like, I think we talked about it on the Point Break episode when Steve was in the studio. You don't see anybody else playing Patrick Swayze's character, Bodhi. No one else is playing that character.
Yeah.
You just can't envision that because he made that his own. Edward Norton made this character his own.
Yeah.
You can't see. I personally can't see anybody else playing that role.
Yeah.
He's such a horrible character when you're first introduced to him.
Yeah.
He's such a horrible person, and then you see the transformation. I mean, he's still at the point in his life. He still has a ways to go.
Yeah, very much
but
so.
He's definitely on the path of.
He's heading in the right direction.
He's heading in the right direction of reevaluating life and everything that he's been taught, and trying to make a better future for not only himself but for his family.
Right.
In that regards, this is a beautiful character.
Yeah.
A very compelling character. Not necessarily that anyone can relate to the racist aspect of who this character is.
Right.
But you can definitely relate to the character as a whole when you examine it as someone who has basically been told or shown the wrong light his whole life.
Yeah.
Once he steps out of that into a different path and starts to reevaluate who he is.
Yeah.
And starts to point himself in a better direction for his own betterment. Anyone can relate to that. You've been shown the wrong way, and now you want to be something better. You know, we can relate to that.
For sure. It's interesting you say, because I told you I normally get a lot of fun facts and stuff. And this one, there wasn't, I mean, again, dealing with the type of movie it is, it's like, it can't be like, hey, fun fact, you know. I mean, you know, shouldn't say that when you're drinking, taking a drink, sorry.
Yeah, I'm about to spit my Coke everywhere. Fun facts about racism.
Right. But you were, you know, talking about Edward Norton, Joaquin Phoenix was actually, he turned down the lead role for this.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to be honest, I'm not really a Joaquin Phoenix fan.
Yeah.
I can't picture him doing this role.
Yeah.
I really cannot.
No, I agree. I don't think he would have sold it.
I don't think he could have encapsulated it. I think it would have been a different performance.
Yeah.
And there's always just been something a little off about Joaquin Phoenix for me, personally. I loved him in Gladiator.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good in that.
Yeah.
I thought he was good in Walk the Line.
Walk the Line, yeah, he was good.
But
yeah, he plays a good Johnny Cash. So
he was really good in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
I got to give him some credit. He was really good in that. But I've seen him in other things that he just doesn't sit right.
Right. Yeah.
But no, Edward Norton in this role is, I mean, I hate to use the word again, but iconic.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, when you American History X, when you think of it, like you immediately go to the picture of Edward Norton with the swastika on his chest. Like it's, I mean, the moment you see it, you know American History X, like because it is such an iconic movie. So interesting though, director Tony Kaye, this is his debut film. Okay. And there was so much drama behind the scenes with this particular movie. I mean, he came out like basically, because I didn't realize how much Edward Norton played a role in script writing and a lot of that as well. But like he was brought on obviously as the actor, but Tony Kaye, that wasn't really his choice. And then I guess Edward Norton is such a perfectionist when doing roles that he can be kind of unbearable to work with.
Okay.
And I guess Tony Kaye had he done the edit, and then the studio sent it back saying we don't like it.
Oh, really?
So he spent a year re-editing, sent it back. They said, we don't like it. So then they brought Edward Norton on to help with the final edit.
Really?
And he added an extra 20 minutes of film to the original. So that's what we have now.
And then the studio was like, this is it.
The studio was like, this is what we want.
So it took Edward Norton.
But that obviously there was more of a rift even then with Tony Kaye and Edward Norton. Tony actually didn't see the film until 9 years later.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Just because of that?
Because of all this, he canceled the premiere. And he didn't even watch the film until 9 years later because he felt like basically it wasn't his film anymore.
Well, here's the thing, though, in something like that. If the studio is telling you they don't like it, they don't want to put it out, and then someone comes along and they tweak it and they make it better, and the studio's like, let's go. I mean,
but that's
are directors that vain?
Well, and especially because this is his debut. But he had, I guess, apparently done a lot of music videos and commercials and stuff like that. And so,
what to do? I mean,
right, exactly. And so, I just found that interesting. There's all of this dynamic happening behind the scenes,
right?
But the final product
speaks for itself.
Right,
I mean, it's a very powerful.
Edward
movie.
Norton was nominated for Best Actor for an Oscar. He was beat out by Roberto. I'm going to slaughter his last name. Roberto Benigni in Life is Beautiful, which is actually about, ironically enough, about basically a Jewish waiter who falls in love with this girl, and it's this kind of drama comedy type deal, and about concentration camps and stuff. And so I've never seen the movie, so I can't really give much of a description of it. But I just found
Roberto Benigni.
Yeah, but
does that sound right?
Benigi.
Roberto Benigni.
Yeah. So, but
I just made that up.
He beat Edward Norton with the Oscar. You know, and of course.
Well, see, now this goes off into a whole side tangent.
Well, and
with the Oscars.
No, and I was gonna, that's kind of why I brought it up as well, because
I kind of want to watch that other movie now just to see, so I can do a side by side comparison, because this was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I've watched the Oscars before.
Yeah.
And I've seen what movies win Best Picture. I've seen,
and you can definitely see there's some political and some other stuff going on behind the scenes.
Sometimes when I watch the Oscars, I literally sometimes come away scratching my head. It's like, how could you pick these movies over other movies?
Right.
How could you pick this actor over another actor? I never understood that. But anyway, all right, we got off on a side.
No, we did, and that's fine. I just found it interesting that, because Life is Beautiful. Maybe I'm just been living under a rock. I don't know, but like
I've never
heard of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it wasn't a great film. But I just found it interesting that the content it was dealing with, and then they both dealt with Nazism, but one was, and so it's almost like maybe he was a phenomenal, maybe he deserved that Oscar, but it's almost like, was it more of the Academy going, hey, we don't want to promote, because I mean, American History X is very racist.
Yeah, very heavy on the racist side. Yeah,
and
I can see where that may, and
of course it's all speculation, but from me,
a lot of people feel, like you said, political. The Oscars have come across in some regards as political, being people behind the scenes pulling the strings. It's like, this is what we want to win, as opposed to what is best and what is the right thing. That could possibly be. I don't know. We'll speculate here on the show and say that.
Sure.
But again, like I said, I'm going to have to watch this other movie just so I can see the side-by-side comparison to understand how a movie like this doesn't, win an Oscar, or he doesn't get a Best Actor performance. And then going back to the director, I mean, seriously, dude?
I mean,
just because it's your first time out, but look, your name is still attached to it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, he fought so hard to get his name unattached to it.
What a moron.
Right. No, I agree.
How stupid can you be?
And really, he hasn't gone on to produce much. I mean, he hasn't really gone on to do much.
Well, his overall body of work would speak for itself then. I mean, obviously.
Well, and I mean, maybe because he made this such a big deal that mayally Hollywood's like, we're not really
blackballed him a little bit. You brought that stuff on yourself.
But it's like, this is a great film, obviously. Dealing with racism, we've covered that. I mean, so this was 98 for this. Yeah.
It was released. Edward Norton had already put out, he'd already been in a few pretty good movies up to this point.
Yeah.
So, and this is his director's first time out the gate with a big, big
and Edward
budget,
Norton actually took a pay cut in doing this film.
The way I look at it, and this director should just not look a gift horse in the mouth. Right? He should have just took what was given to him and check your ego at the door, and understand you were basically being given a gift.
Yeah.
So shut up and go with it.
Yeah.
Directors. Glad I never was one.
Not yet. Who knows?
Not yet.
Okay, so dealing with the content in and of itself.
Right.
I personally, because of working in the inner city, I've worked with African Americans. I've worked with those in poverty. And a lot of times those are synonymous with one another. They, unfortunately, that is kind of the way it is. And so, but I have definitely seen, because of that and being in that world and being invited into that world, I've seen some effects of white privilege, if you will. But I guess my question to you is, have you seen the effects, maybe not on a personal level, but have you seen the effects of racism in your own life, or been around people that have been affected by that?
I can't honestly say that I have ever experienced racism directly. It hasn't been anything that anyone that I know that I've seen it affect them. Okay. I've never experienced it.
Sure.
I've never been a part of that. I try and distance myself from that. I've certainly been around people who have made racial comments.
Sure.
And I try, again, to distance myself from that. When I've had these conversations about race, especially race in this country, I always like to bring up the fact that my oldest memory that I can think back, living on Carpenter Drive in Owensboro, Kentucky, we live in duplexes, and about 3 or 4 or 5 places down, there was, we have a couple duplexes and there was a couple houses. There was a family there. It was this white family, they had this little white kid, and they adopted a black kid. So that's my first introduction to race in America, growing up.
Sure.
4 or 5 years old. A little black kid named Andy. and they ended up moving away. The first time I ever went to church was with that family, and it was a predominantly white church.
Sure.
And so you got this white family that adopted this black kid, and then I tag along with them to go to church. And I didn't know any different. Mm-hmm. He was just Andy down the street.
Right.
He wasn't a white kid. He wasn't a black kid. He was just a kid.
Yeah.
And so that's my introduction to it, to race. I've always approached people as people.
Right.
That's it. I don't see white. I don't see black. I don't see Asian. I don't see Mexican. I don't see any of that stuff. I just see people until you show me otherwise. And then you become a jerk,
right.
an ass,
yeah.
Then you're just whatever.
Right.
I really want to like people.
Yeah.
I like to like people.
Yeah.
Sometimes people suck.
It's true,
and it has nothing to do with their race. It has to do with them
and their character, their character as a person.
Character, yeah. But me personally, no, I've never been put in a situation where there was like the heavy racist tone to whatever was going on at that moment, like in a conversation or activities or anything like that. Yeah. I personally have never witnessed discrimination. I would be a fool to say that doesn't exist because I've never seen it.
Sure.
I would be an absolute fool to say that is the case.
Sure.
So I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
I can't speak to it because I've never experienced it, but I can't say it doesn't exist because I've never experienced it.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's like anything. You have good employees and bad employees. So, when it comes to police brutality, things like that, you have good police officers, and most of them I would say are, but then you have some bad ones and some really bad ones. And unfortunately, they bring, just like you would in your job and in our job, like we bring with us, and this is the way we do it in life. We bring with us our preconceived ideas that have been formed and shaped by our parents sitting at the dining room table, as well as by the environment or the things that have happened to us. We automatically skew it to fit our worldview.
Right.
And so, they become building blocks. And unfortunately, if we don't have the interactions that we see with Edward Norton's character and Dr. Sweeney and Lamont, those are two.
Lamont is the
guy in the laundry, and so you see these conversations happening.
Right.
There's this openness that happens, and if we don't have those, then I can see where you get to the point.
Oh yeah,
and
if you close yourself off to the possibility of more to the world than what your mind has created, or what your surroundings or the people in your life have created in your mind, then I can see where those building blocks. And I don't even look at it as a building block that creates you. I look at it as a building block that creates the cell around you that blocks you off from the rest of society.
It's almost like
you're creating your own prison of hate when you allow yourself to be so narrow-minded.
And so for me, probably one of my first experiences with racism was I went to a school in Posey County, middle of a cornfield. To say predominantly white school is an understatement. And the only kid that had any pigment that was any darker than white was a guy that he and I became best friends in high school, and his name was Matt. And Matt was a Korean kid, and he had been adopted like as a baby into this obviously white family. I had witnessed in class this hillbilly jack off is what we'll call him. I mean, he just that's nicest I can say about him. The teacher would leave the room and he would turn and he would just start spewing racial slurs at my friend Matt. And at the whole time I'm just I think caught off guard because I'm like, are you
blown away
is this really happening? Is this
because in your mind?
Because I'm like,
in your mind, this is Matt, your friend.
Yeah, this is Matt.
This is just a guy,
right? And he's been here since basically birth,
and by all accounts, American.
Right.
Because he may have been adopted, but he was adopted as a baby. He's been here his whole life.
Right.
He's American.
Who then goes on to become a military police officer with the U.S. Army, by the way.
Wow.
Defending the freedom for this jerk. But, it's just like... This guy actually, and that's what blows me away. Is like men and women that are every race, color, creed, religion that are bleeding and dying for you to have the right to be an ass.
Exactly.
And
that's sad.
It just is like
the hypocrisy of freedom.
Yeah. So it's just like what? It's definitely out there, and unfortunately,
it's definitely out there.
We obviously, and like we've said before, we can't really speak into a lot of that. We can speak from our perspective and things, but I think having an understanding that our worldview is shaped by our experiences.
Oh, yeah.
And the people around us and who we let speak into our lives.
And I think, honestly, our lives and our life experiences with people of different nationalities and different races and different creeds, I think those experiences are also shaped by your ability to open yourself up. And if you don't have that ability, you basically make it easy for hate to burden you.
Yeah.
And if you allow yourself to open up and let other people in and see people for people and not see people for color of their skin or see people for whatever quote unquote faction they are, stuff like that, then you don't narrow your viewpoint. You actually widen it.
Yeah.
And then you can start seeing so much more of the world. With our jobs, we're in and out of buildings and neighborhoods, and we see all kinds of different people every single day. My favorite thing to do is to greet each and every single one of them with a stupid joke. Because if they smile, then I know they're having a good day, and they're cool with me, and I'm cool with them.
Yeah.
Like Edward Furlong said, and this life is just too damn short for hate to be burdening you. Yeah. And I don't have time for it. I just have zero time for it. I have zero patience for it. Yeah. I want to live this life as best I can, day in and day out, take care of myself, take care of my family, and maybe go on a vacation once or twice a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have time for all the other BS that's going on. I just really don't. Yeah. I get so worked up when I see people who dedicate so much time to hating other people.
Yeah.
It just boggles the mind. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever.
What do you think drives that?
Oh, God, I really don't know, man. I don't know what drives the hate train in people's brains.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it. I can't relate to it.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to start to unravel that mystery because it just doesn't make any sense to me to hate somebody for the color of their skin or to hate somebody because they speak differently or whatever. People are people. People are just people.
So, obviously, I've told you I have experience in history in the church.
Yeah.
And there's a whole nother level of just closed-mindedness, if you will, with a lot of things. And there's some aspects that I can maybe understand because I grew up in that. So I can kind of understand where people are coming from. But others, the conclusion I have drawn is people are afraid.
I can see that.
Like
for sure.
Fear is a driving factor.
Yep.
The fear of the unknown. So they close themselves off. I think the reason why I bring this point up is more so because I keep going back to Dr. Sweeney and Lamont. And I think, we're not going to solve the world problems on Dude What Podcast. But however,
what?
The few of you that are listening,
all 6 of you,
we've grown.
We're gonna band together. Yeah, we were 4. Now we're up to 6.
I think that one of the biggest things that could happen is what you see there, because there's a lot of people talking over people within this conversation of race in America.
Yeah.
And I think if they would stop and fold laundry, and
like Lamont said,
literally
take your time.
Yeah.
There could be, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but maybe the possibility of him saying, take your time. There's always going to be more laundry.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a correlation to life itself. There's always going to be more of what's going on.
Yeah.
Slow down. Yeah. Take your time.
And have that conversation.
Have the conversation,
with somebody that is different than you.
Be willing to sit down and have the conversation. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, this isn't a race thing, this is more of a religion thing, but in high school, my cousin Troy, he was big into Marilyn Manson. It was almost like he was living the part, He wore, the clothes and he did his hair up, and here I am in freaking shorts and flip-flops and a shirt, but the two of us, we got along great all the time,
Sure.
Some of the stuff he was into, I was not into at all. Right. He had this ideology that he had, based off of this persona of Marilyn Manson character and, with religion and everything. And so he had this viewpoint based on religion and all this stuff. And it's a very strong one, his viewpoint's very strong.
Sure.
And, I had my viewpoint, but we never allowed it to clash.
Right.
One day I used to work at Burger King.
The BK Lounge.
The BK Lounge. Dan Cook, another reference. I used to work at Burger King, and he would come in there and he would hang out.
Yeah.
So Troy would come in, and he would sit in the dining room and wait for me to get off work. And then I would go out when I get off work, and we'd just sit there and, BS, chill. One afternoon I was working, and I got done, I went out, and he was out there, and he was in his full Marilyn Manson garb, and he was wearing like a clerk's collar,
Yeah, like full on.
Yeah, he had like his eyebrows shaved, and
oh man,
I mean he was full on into it, Well, he's sitting there, and there's this dude sitting at a table next to him.
Boy.
And the guy's sitting there eating a sandwich. He keeps looking over at Troy. He just keeps looking over at him. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, this is going to be some stuff here, right?
Yeah.
Well, the guy just calmly looks at Troy, and he's like, He's like, why do you wear the outfit? He was legitimately like
wanting to know.
Wanting to know.
Yeah.
He wasn't being a smart ass, and he wanted to know.
Yeah.
So he asked him, and Troy sat there, and they literally had a conversation back and forth about religion, about Manson, his music, what meanings there are, his outfit, what this guy believed in and stuff. They had a 25-minute conversation in this dining room, back and forth, very civil, very peaceful. Yeah. And then when they were done, the guy said, he's like, well, that's cool. He's like, I was just curious. So he was like, you have a nice day. And Troy was like, you have a nice day. And that was it.
Yeah.
My point being is, if you sit down and have a dialogue, a peaceful dialogue, and one side is able to get their point across and the other side is able to get their point across, you can accomplish more than yelling over top of each other. It's so much easier to just peacefully communicate back and forth. Yeah. It's not a hippie tree hugger notion. It's just simple facts. Yeah. You get more accomplished when you're trying to not just drive your agenda, and you're trying to actually get knowledge and trying to understand the other side. Yep. And honestly, like I said, don't want to go into politics or anything like this, but I think that is what killed Hillary Clinton in the presidency, running for the office. Yeah. She was so quick to just dismiss the people who were supporting Trump that she didn't actually listen to the people that were supporting Trump and understanding what their concerns were and what their gripes were and what their frustrations were with the presidency, the White House, and government in general. If she had taken the time, instead of just dismissing them and just assuming she was going to win this in a walk away, she would have understood and been able to connect with these people and maybe got some of them to believe in her. Listen to me, let me talk to you, let me give you a little bit of faith, trust me, I can do this for you people. I know you're frustrated, I know you're hurt, and you're angry. Trust me, let me take you on this journey, and we'll make this world better, we'll make this country better. And she didn't do that. She just dismissed them, and obviously half the country spoke up and said, no, you're not going to just shoo us away. And I think that's what happened. So, but
it's so, I mean, and
communication is key in everything.
And you can use that obviously within dealing with race, dealing with religion, dealing with politics, especially.
Anything.
I think that it's a great point of the fact that instead of approaching, automatically assuming, I already know what you think because of what you're wearing or the way you vote or what you look like, and instead just looking at you as like, hey, let's have a conversation. Instead of me trying to prove my point, let me just listen.
Honestly, I think debate should be a prerequisite for every high school student.
I agree.
Because it gives you a forum to speak your point of view against someone who has an opposing point of view, but you don't yell at each other. You're presenting facts from your point of view, and you're presenting facts from your point of view, and you find a common ground in the middle.
And you may walk away still disagreeing. But at least you listened.
Exactly.
And then you can process that later. No, that's good. It's really good. I knew we would get off topic of just the movie, obviously.
This is one of those topics that branches out into so many other things.
It does.
It's amazing how race relations in this country can filter into everything that you touch.
Very much so.
I mean, it really does.
So.
That's why this is one of these things. I get so... I'm at a point, for me personally, where I'm over all the race stuff. I want everyone to be just chill, cool with each other. Your kids can walk down the street without fear. My kids can walk down the street without fear. That's the point where I want to be. I want to be at that point where I walk past the person on the street and that person's cool with me. I'm cool with that person. That's where I want to be. But I know we're nowhere near that. Because stuff like this doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Change doesn't happen overnight. And that's I get frustrated whenever I hear people, get angry about stuff not happening right away. Look at where we are in this country.
We didn't get here right away.
We didn't get here in a matter of 2 years. All right? We are not so far removed from where black people were being drug out of their homes and lynched and killed. We're not too far removed from that. We've made a lot of strides, but we'd be a fool to say we're completely removed from that. We're not. That just happened 50, 60 years ago. How long have we been fighting for racial discrimination to come to an end? Hundreds of years.
Well, then I mean, it
takes all of us doing our part.
And I think also just not having an understanding of our history. Of even, unfortunately, there's been a lot of programs and things that have been put in place that I think have enabled this continual narrative to happen, this divide with race.
Right.
You know, and then you add into the mix social media and, you know, sound bites and video clips and things that have been just cut, you know, so then you're not getting the full story, but you're basing, again, off of your personal...
Everyone's so rushed to just get the, you know, quick 10-second sound bite, and then you create a misinformed opinion that you go and you blog about for a half hour over something that you heard, and then you have to go back. I mean, I think there are more fact checks now.
Right.
You know, and, you know...
But then there's fact checks for fact checks.
Exactly. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know?
But it goes back to what you were... it again goes back to what you were saying, what, like Lamont's response was like, we've got time, you know?
We've got plenty of time.
And I also was thinking about the dialogue that Edward Norton, he's having with Dr. Sweeney near the end in the cafe, or in the diner, you know, when he was like, this is bigger than me, like this was going on long before me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And basically, Dr. Sweeney's response was like, you got to do something. Like, you have that responsibility. And honestly, I think approaching this episode, I had some fear and trepidation, and just because of the content, but then but then on the other hand, I was somewhat excited about it, because my thinking is that if you have a microphone, you better have something to say. Sure. And we're doing a movie podcast. We're having fun. And that's something, especially in the church world, that I was a big proponent on. It's just like, just because you have a microphone doesn't mean you're saying anything important, but you need to be, because you have the microphone.
Exactly.
You know. Well, and so my hope is that even in our dialogue and our conversation, even today, maybe it will encourage you guys as listeners to take time.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, try to get to know somebody that you would never get to know. Like somebody that is completely different than you. Try to have a conversation with them.
You'd be surprised what kind of common ground you would actually find.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
Very much so. Yeah. That's my soapbox. But so any other thoughts about this particular movie that stood out to you, that just had an impact on you, that you liked, didn't like?
Just the one word that keeps coming back to me is powerful. Yeah. It's just a very powerful movie. Not only a powerful movie, but I think it's an important movie. Yeah. I really do. Especially in this country now. We have to understand that there's a possibility that our way of thinking is wrong.
Yeah.
Start to make a change. Make a change for the better. You're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your kids. Kids after that. You know, and down the line. This world is going to last a hell of a lot longer than we are. Yeah. You know, despite what the doomsday preppers and all those
Which, by the way, you're wrong, because we're here.
Yeah, exactly. We survived. I don't even know what the hell that was.
I don't know. It was supposed some nut job. Like that. Honestly, this is the reason why I was hesitant to even mention my involvement in the church world, because truthfully, I feel like I spend most of my time apologizing for quote unquote Christians, because, you know, and so much so that I don't want to be labeled that. It's just like, call me a Jesus follower, because I try to, because there's so much cuckoo LaRue stuff going on that it's like, hey, we had an eclipse. Well, here's a fun fact for you, doomsday prophecy guy. America really doesn't play a big role in a lot of what you're talking about. Yeah. So, you know, it just, I don't know. There's just so much that, So when I see a lot of that, I'm just like, please don't. I
think the overall point is,
my wife hides Facebook from me a lot of times because of stuff like that. But
the point being is, this world is going to be out here.
It's going to be a lot
than all of us. Yeah. So make the best of it right now. There's really no reason to spend your time hating.
Yeah. If you can have the conversations now with people that are different than you, and actually have a legit conversation with them, then guess what? Your children
will have that conversation.
The hope that we're looking forward to take, they're going to be better off for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to see you having those conversations, but then it's going to open the door for you to have those conversations with your kids. It's just going to open up a different world all around. Anyway, do you have any other thoughts?
No other thoughts.
Because I know we've kind of gone long. I had a feeling we might. No other thoughts then. So give me some answers here, Brian.
You want answers?
You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah, I do. Finally. Sorry.
Oh, man.
It's just one of those movies that stir you up.
Yeah, it really does. This wasn't a tough movie to rank.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
I'll go ahead and give my ranking for it. It's a 5.
Right.
Okay.
So that's
it's a really good movie. It's a powerful movie. But from a rewatchable standpoint, I mean, it's low for me, just because it's so brutally honest. Sometimes it's hard to face the truth. And this is one of those movies, like, I mean, it's a gut check to society, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It really is.
No, I agree.
Like, you have to open your damn eyes.
Yeah.
You really have to open your eyes. And this movie is just a reminder of how much further down the road we have to go. But as far as a movie goes, it's a 5. This is a masterpiece film.
Yeah.
You know, for the message that it sends, for the performance, the character evolution, the character interaction. The story is solid. The characters are solid. I really feel like this is probably one of the most important films I've ever watched. I mean, it really is.
Wow.
So it's a 5.
Wow. I don't know how to segue from that, man. Like just the yeah. But I'll just
time for wacky film news.
And even to this day, Brian, I still struggle with segues.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. No wacky film news for you guys.
Right?
God. How you guys doing, by the way, after that episode? Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay, Jim?
I am.
Can we breathe?
Now's the time to talk about the Amazon link for the Kleenex boxes.
Get your copy of American History X and a box of Kleenexes because you're going to need it.
Gosh, man.
Wow. Let me just say right now, getting production notes for this episode required me to go back and actually listen to the episode. That way I can get a full grasp of where we were at the time. I can still remember a lot from that episode because this is an episode that sticks with me. But going back and re-listening to it, especially the montage, oh my God. It just put me back into that state when we first watched the film on this show. I've stuck true to it. I've said it on the show. This was not going to be a high rewatchability movie for me. Going forward, I probably will never watch it again. I still have not watched this movie because I just don't think that I can handle it.
Yeah.
Some of the words that kind of were coming out, and as I was taking notes and getting all this stuff together, somber, sadness, anger, all these different emotions going back. And it's crazy that this episode, and we talked about it on the front half about changing the tone of our show, not necessarily with just this episode, but just with our show. It's just crazy how this episode in particular really shifted what we do on the show.
Yeah, you guys obviously just got to hear the genuine, and then I wanted to make sure that I said this again, like 'cause I believe I mentioned it on that show, but like the genuine reaction of when you started talking about the film.
Right.
And I remember to this day, like this is one of these episodes I haven't had to go back and listen to. I haven't.
Right.
But I remember it almost as if it just happened. There were moments in that as far as the recording process goes. And I just remember sitting across from you as you were processing what you just saw for the very first time.
Right.
And I remember thinking, there was part of me that was like, I was trying to be very much in the moment and hold space for you.
Yep.
But then there's this other part of my brain that was like, I hope the hell he does not cut this from the show. Because it was such, for me, it was such a visceral, genuine reaction. And I was like, this, if he keeps this, in the show, this will totally change us from other movie podcasts. And it wasn't a braggadocious thing. It wasn't any of that. It was just mentally, I was thinking, I hope he doesn't become self-aware or concerned enough to where he cuts it.
Well, the good thing about me is I have very much been an open book. Most people that know me know I'm an open book. You're going to know exactly how I feel whenever I'm feeling it. So it's never been an issue. And so with regard to the show, you talk about the idea of, I hope he keeps this in. It was never a question of whether or not I was going to cut it out or not. Whenever I was listening back and doing the original edit, it was staying in because it was just part of the show. The only problem that I had with, in hindsight, looking back, and a lot of it has to do with the equipment that we were using at the time. You guys know now we have these great microphones that, they have a great sound quality to them. They really capture us, especially, if we tweak things a little bit here and there. It's mainly on Jim's part.
It's true. It's true. It's that church voice.
But back in the day when we were still using the Rock Band microphones, one problem that we had with the Rock Band mics was you had to constantly be talking into them. And the reason why is because if there was a lull in sound, the mic would slowly shut itself off.
Yeah.
I mean, and not in the regard of it powers down, but just in the regard of it stops recording.
Yeah.
It stops picking up sound. So when you guys heard this just now, you probably heard some like weird kind of cuts and pops and stuff like that. That's because the microphone wasn't allowing for that dead air to just record and keep that same level.
Right.
And it really pisses me off whenever I look back at the edit on this show, because I had to cut out a lot of that dead space there in my reactions that you guys were hearing when I was getting really emotional. And so it kind of sounds choppy when you listen back. And I hate that, because there was some really technical term pregnant pauses where there was just long space when it's just where I was so emotional that I was still processing what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it, and if I could even get it out.
Yeah.
And so from a production standpoint, I have some regrets that we still had those shit microphones at the time. Yeah. But I mean, we worked with what we had. We have microphones that I can do that now.
Right.
You know, so when we have genuine moments on our show now, you guys may have even heard it on the Robin Williams episode that we did. I think that was what, season 1, season 2 or something like that, when we actually covered the film Hook. It got really emotional in there talking about Robin Williams. And that was a very strong point in that episode. And it's only driven by the fact that there was that pause that you can hear in there where I am gathering my thoughts in reflection of Robin Williams, you know, and what he means to me as an entertainer and someone that I looked up to from a comedic standpoint. So with regard to this episode, from a production standpoint, I really wish that I had better microphones back then, because I think it would have really made that moment in our show more impactful.
Well, and I here's the thing I can say from behind the scenes, that our friend, super fan, Just for the Win.
Yes.
I remember after this episode, she and I were talking. I can't remember, like, I think we had seen each other, like, I believe she lived down here still at that point, if I remember right. So,
right.
And she'd come over for dinner or something. There was something, we were physically in the same room talking, and we were talking about this episode, and she got misty-eyed even as she was talking about it. She's like, you know, because she calls me Jimmy. She's like, Jimmy, I, like, the moment that he, you know, got emotional, and like she just kind of stopped and gathered her, you know, and it's just like, for me, and that's what I was telling her, I was like, I was so, from a production side, I was very grateful, because I know the relationship that you and I have. Yes. I know the friendship that we have. Yeah. I know the deep, heavy conversations we have off air. Mm-hmm. A lot of people probably just see us as a bunch of, you know, knuckleheads. We're yucking all the time, having fun.
Yeah, that's
and
us.
I mean, you know, we've talked about this before on our show, of like the fact that sometimes the most comedic people, sometimes the most funniest people actually have a very deep,
dramatic side to
very them. Dark well that they draw from. Yep. And you and I are very similar in that aspect. And so I think that we have many very intimate, very, very heavy conversations that we have made an intentional choice not to put those out. So for it to become part of a film and talking about a film and part of the show, to kind of share that piece of us. And I think for me, you know, I mean, we joke about like this show for me has become therapy, right?
Yeah.
But you know, there's a piece of us that we want to share with the world,
right? I think what you're trying to say is, on a base level, everyone wants to be able to connect with people.
Yeah,
and they want to be able to connect with people in the most real version of themselves. And the only way you can do that is to totally be vulnerable in what you're feeling and what you want to say. I think because I am such an open book, it's not that hard for me to do that. And so doing it on this show, trying to connect with people in that regard through our little movie talks and the stuff that we do here, it was just a natural extension of who we are, and especially me, you know, because I'm the one who was a blubbering mess, but but it's a true representation of who we are off mic too, as well.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of difference from on mic and off mic.
That's a good way to put it, actually, now that you say it like that, because I think, and again, during this season, during this time, I'm still trying to figure out myself.
Right.
And what we're presenting, right? Because we're presenting this to the world. We don't know who's listening. We know that the whole world has access. We know maybe 4 people are actually listening, but like,
hey guys.
you know, like used to, but like, but the fact of like, you know, I think for me during that time was still trying to figure out not necessarily who I am, but who are we presenting? Right. Are we going to present ourselves? Are we going to present a caricature of ourselves, right? And this is still early on in the podcasting aspect. So, and I think that's something that all podcasters kind of work through as entertainers or whatever, right? Is like, are you going to give your real self? Or are you going to give a version of yourself?
Right.
Or an avatar?
Right.
And for me, this was a very pivotal moment of like saying, hey, this is who we are. Especially for you, this is who I am. And I hope people appreciate it, but it wasn't even, there was no production, there was no pretension, there was nothing in it. It was just, you were responding to a movie that you just saw that ripped your guts out.
Yep. That's why I created the format whenever I pitched you this show originally, because I wanted to be able to get my visceral reactions to films right off the jump. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to process. I wanted to process on the show. I wanted the show to be the process. And I feel like we've created that.
Yeah.
So pretty exciting stuff. I mean, I'm glad that we have done it the way that we have done it, for sure. You know, we talk about all these crazy in-depth conversations that you and I have, you know, on mic, off mic. The two worlds kind of bleed together. It just kind of makes me wonder, Jim, from a religious standpoint, do you still feel like you should apologize for Christians everywhere? Are you still in that same frame of mind? This is a trap question.
It is. You know, here's the thing. There's a part of me that, yes, you and I know this because we just had a conversation, you know, with Benji.
Yeah.
About this very thing and about someone that was using him as a project.
Right.
You know, and you guys are sitting there eating like it's no problem, like you're just listening, and I'm literally getting angry. Like, I'm like, I might go commit a crime after I leave here. You know, like, I was just very frustrated. And I even, after you kind of walked away, I told Benji, I was like, look, I just want to tell you I'm sorry. Like, this is not a representation of Christ. This is not a representation of what Jesus was about. And so I do feel like at times there's still that, I don't know, man. Like, I being outside of the stained glass more than I am on the inside nowadays.
Yeah.
There's part of me that I'm saddened. I'm more so saddened for the people in it that are continuing to perpetuate hurt and pain unknowingly.
Gotcha.
There is a piece that I want to apologize to those that are experiencing the hurt and the pain from those. But then there's almost this sense of pity and kind of just, I don't know, just an observer watching a lot of these people in the church world that are the ones perpetuating those things, that now there's fruit coming to bear for the seeds they've planted for so long.
Gotcha.
And I will let the listener decide if that's a good fruit or a bad fruit.
That's funny. Jim, the listeners just heard on this episode, whenever we revealed that it was American History X, the story about how I came across this copy of it, because you had made mention. It's like, hey, this looks like a used copy. Did you buy this? And I did buy it. I bought it at a store called Legacy Thrift, and you guys heard me talk about it on there. It was like a resale shop, and they just happened to have it on the shelf. And the reason why I bring it up, Jim, 2 points. One, Legacy Thrift is no longer open. It's very sad, because there for a run of about 2-3 years, my wife and I would always go there because we love to go to resale shops. That's like our thing. Goodwill stores, resale shops, consignment shops. That's our thing. We love doing that. And we drove by there, and it was closed. It's like a flooring store now. So very sad. No more Legacy Thrift. Yeah. But the real reason why I want to bring it up, Jim, and you don't even know this. This is a fun little thing that I'm going to reveal here.
Did you buy a thrift store?
I bought a thrift store. I now own a thrift store.
Legacy Thrift is no longer because you bought it.
Yeah, call me Macklemore.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is.
Listen to me carefully. You're an idiot!
Stupid. No, Jim, I did not buy a thrift store. Me buying American History X shaped this show and changed the direction of this show.
Really?
And I'll explain why. When I put this category together for you, I originally, and I had the intention of actually covering the film A Time to Kill. That's a reveal for you guys. I have never seen the movie A Time to Kill.
What? Oh. Wow.
I originally wanted to cover A Time to Kill. And so I told myself whenever I got back from Florida, I was going to rent a copy of A Time to Kill. I'm not big into signs. I'm not big into the universe is trying to speak to me, that whole thing. But whenever I walked into Legacy Thrift that day and I saw American History X sitting on the shelf and was a really good copy and it was dirt cheap, I was like, maybe something's trying to tell me that this is the film that I should do instead. And it just so happened to be in the category.
Wow. So
I made the shift whenever I bought it down there to do that film instead of A Time to Kill.
Okay. Wow.
So because of happenstance with regard to me just being in the right place at the right time, it inadvertently altered the course of our show.
Wow.
On episode 11. You had no idea about that, did you?
No, I didn't. That's crazy. Especially because you said it's a thrift store. It wasn't a video store. It's a thrift store.
No, it was a thrift store. They had like maybe 10 DVDs just sitting on like a shelf.
Interesting.
And it was just laying there. And it happened to be, I am not even making this up. It happened to be laying, like all the other DVDs are like lined up in a row, standing up. This one just happened to be laying on the shelf like, like it's just right there.
Interesting.
I just happened to walk. I'm like, what are the odds?
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
All this conversation, we talk about my reaction to it and everything and how it shifted, how our tone for the show is and how we would approach being who we are on mic and just, bare bones and all that stuff. It came from this episode, from this film, but it would not have happened. Maybe it would have. I don't know. But because it was this film, it happened in the way that it happened.
Wow.
Yep.
We've talked about often, and I mean, more so off air, but all the little happy coincidences of our show.
Yep.
For a show that nobody's ever heard of, it's almost like the universe keeps saying, hey, put this stuff out. You need to be doing this.
Yeah.
So, but then again, maybe it's not that we need to be, it's just more so you and I just need to hang out and
I think we
work through our feelings. So,
we just need to hang out, work through our feelings, and maybe play some Hero Quest, but we'll talk
some
about that later.
too,
so anyway, Jim.
Speaking of little douches.
Hey. So I cut it off here on this episode, the new categories for Jim. The categories that I gave Jim on this episode: post-apocalyptic, comedies that start with a W, and movies for the ladies. Now, Jim chose comedies that start with a W, but I think he was kind of begrudgingly because he was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I got loose with the format with regard to the categories. I was having a little fun with it, and you're like, yeah, you're a little too loose.
Yeah, well, and I think again, in light of the conversation that we were having on this episode, and then going into that, but I mean, I obviously chose comedies that begin with a W.
Yeah, and so episode 12 from our original run, Dude, What Original that is. Lil Douche is what it's titled. Lil Douche. Just a little douche, Jim. Actually turned out to be a really, really, really fun episode. Actually, a great episode. And had a running gag there for a while with the just a little douche.
Just a little douche.
The options were Wedding Crashers, White Chicks, and Wayne's World. Yeah, comedies that start with a W. So you have that to look forward to on the next Dude What Original release from our archive. It's a lot of fun on that episode. I got no more production notes for this episode. This was a really heavy episode. I'm glad we got to talk about it and work through some of the stuff, especially from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you wanted to throw out there for the listeners?
No,
with regard to this episode?
I don't think, like, in regards to this one, I mean, no, I really don't. I mean, it's one of those that, I just, it's one of those films that just will stick with you for sure.
I think the only thing that I can really remember from a production, it's not even from a production standpoint, it's just from an emotional vibe standpoint. I do remember after we recorded that episode and we were all done and got everything together, usually we have like some nice back and forth and we just kind of cut up and stuff. Yeah. You pretty much got your stuff and we kind of just said, hey, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. And you just left.
Yeah.
I think we were both just drained at that point.
Yeah. No, it definitely was one of those that I vaguely remember coming home and I think Kylie had asked, like, well, what movie did you guys talk about? And I was like, well, it was this. And I was like, it was a lot, babe, kind of thing. It was like one of those, like, up until this point, we didn't really know. And I mean, we're still trying to figure things out. And I mean, we were having fun. We were most of the time laughing, cutting up and all that. So I think it was, it was just a very pivotal episode.
Right.
And because I remember even a couple days after that, actually, interacting with you throughout all that next week, because then you had to go back and edit it.
Yeah.
So I do remember that. Like like you were kind of.
It was not fun, man. It was not a fun time.
Yeah, it was very depressing.
That whole week and a half from the recording of it to the editing and getting it all put out and then re-listening back to it to make sure everything was good from a bells and whistles standpoint. Not fun, man. Probably one of my least favorite experiences with this show from a creative to production standpoint. So,
and all that happened right after you got back from Florida. So,
yay me.
Needed another vacation.
Yeah, no crap. All right, so I got nothing else, man. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to the show. Hey, new listeners. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey,
hello.
Yay, what have you been up to? What are you guys doing, man? How'd that doctor's appointment go? Did it go pretty well?
Yeah.
Everything good? How's those shoes, man? Those shoes look great, man. They look really good.
Bet you can run real fast.
Yeah, man. What about that haircut? Oh, man, that hair is looking great. Good job. I like it. We want to thank you guys for tuning into the show. Seriously, we really appreciate it. Old listeners, hey, man, bedrock for what we do, man. You guys have been sticking around since like the dawn of time. We really appreciate your patience and loyalty. I mean, seriously, we love you guys. As always, you can check out everything that is Dude What related at dudewhatpod.com. You can find our blogs. You can find the original archive, but you don't have to worry about going there. We're releasing everything on the feed.
That's right.
All these Dude What originals, they're all fresh, new. You get all these production notes. You get to find out crazy stuff that Jim didn't even know about. This is why we are doing what we're doing with Season 3. Re-releasing everything from the archive, getting it out there on the feed. That way we can touch a new audience.
With your consent, of course.
Jim, don't make it weird. All right. God, we are on all the.
I just covered our bases.
This is horrible. We're on all the social media pages and websites and apps. We're everywhere, man. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Pandora, Alexa, YouTube, Pinterest. I don't know what else are we on.
Formerly known as Twitter, X.
We're not ecstasy. Don't do ecstasy. The only X you need to be doing is subscribing to us and giving us 5-star reviews.
That's right.
That's really all we want. You can also check us out on Facebook under a little thing called All Access.
All Access.
It's a fun behind-the-scenes secret ninja group. Jim's going to be posting some stuff on there. I think we might be doing some fun stuff thanks to a little birdie named Alex Regal. Can you guys hear that? You don't know what that is, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a lot of fun whenever you guys find that out, and we're going to do it in All Access, and it's going to be great. You actually guys might be able to get to see Alex in person through All Access. That'd be pretty fun.
Got to get a wide angle.
Yeah, because he's jacked. He's freaking jacked. We might just have to put him on the other side of the garage, and then we'll stand in the foreground, and then we'll film it that way.
There you go.
I think that'll work.
Yeah. I mean, dude's like a triangle, man.
Wait, what?
Like an upside down triangle.
Like just built?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Yeah. I look more like a pear.
No,
Probably
you
not
don't.
even that.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're like a watermelon.
You know, suddenly, I'm hungry for a fruit cup.
It's thanks, yeah.
Anyway, let me get back to what I'm doing here. We're getting sidetracked here. My God. All Access, if you want to get into it, it's real easy. You just got to email the show or write us on any of the social media stuff and say, hey, man, I want to get into All Access. And Jim will let you into All Access. It's really easy. And if you want to email us doing it that way, it's super easy. You can follow any one of the links down at the bottom of the show notes. Hey, you guys at dudewhatpod.com. Write us a comment, question, concern, critique, ask to be in All Access, give us some recipes, talk about your trip to your Aunt Ethel's. I don't care. Just write to the show. We want to interact with you. We want to join the conversation with you, and then we will read it on air. We actually got some fun email that we're going to be reading from Mr. Alex Regal that tie into this little thing that I got here laying on the desk here, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be very awesome. I know the reactions that Jim has every time I mention the emails and some of the stuff that Alex has said, and he's just been cracking up. And I've purposely told him, do not tell me anything. Just wait until we read the email. I know we keep teasing it, but we're just waiting until the right opportunity to do it. And actually, that's going to be coming up here real soon. And I mentioned show notes earlier. If you go down to the bottom of the show notes there, I mean, it's going to have links for everything. You know, Jim's going to tag the hell out of everything with regard to this episode. But there's also going to be Amazon links. You follow that, go do your shopping at Amazon. It's going to let Amazon know that you got there from us. So maybe we get a little bit of kickback. I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. But, you know, the thought counts.
Basically, we're Amazon affiliates. So, yeah.
Exactly.
That's what that means. But there's also multiple other ways you can support us.
Exactly.
If you want to become a producer, you have a way that you can you hit the donate button, basically. or become a sponsor. I think
Yes.
is how we have that. There's some clothing, articles of clothing that you could purchase.
There's mugs.
Mugs.
Hats.
Yeah, hats.
Beanies.
All kinds of good stuff. So.
Good fun stuff in our merch store. You want to go and check all that out. Good times are had by all whenever you go to dudewhatpod.com. Jim, I don't think I have anything else, man. I think we're done with this episode. I think we've covered everything that we need to cover with regard to American History X and the production notes that went along with that. I think we should just go ahead and bounce on out of here. What do you think?
I'm with you. Was that another fat joke? My gosh.
Guys, don't listen to him. All right, we are going to see you on the very next episode. We love you guys. See you down the road.
Bye, guys.